EU policy analyst Pieter Cleppe joins me live from Brussels. Peter, years ago we saw economic crises in Greece and Spain. There was debate over whether the EU would survive then, but of course, reports of its demise have been greatly exaggerated. However, since then, we've seen Brexit, we've seen major migration issues, and now challenges to EU authority by Poland and Hungary. Is it facing more threats than ever?
Well, it does face a lot of threats. It's a bit strong to say more threats than ever. I think a lot of the roots of the current problems actually are closely interlinked with the Maastricht Treaty. There were probably some good aspects from that treaty, but the most important change that it facilitated was the common currency, the euro. And I think a reason why some European countries are in dire economic state is precisely the euro. Particularly Italy is in trouble, I would argue, partly because of the euro. Now, not because it's not able to devalue. Okay, that's, I guess, something that could help in very specific circumstances sometimes, but mostly because the common currency has allowed Italian banks to get money in a much cheaper way than would have been possible without the Italian national currency. Now, cheap debt may sound like a good idea, and it's good on the very short term, but on the long term, it's a toxic gift. It has enabled Italian politicians to avoid necessary competitiveness reforms. And I think what is true for Italy is true for most countries within the Eurozone.
And Peter, one thing that you sometimes hear analysts talk about is that, while the EU is good at many things, one thing it is not great on at all is crafting foreign policy. But that's becoming more critical now, especially as we're seeing the potential of war in Europe between Russia and Ukraine.
Well, I think, is it unfortunate that there is no proper European foreign policy? That's an interesting question. I mean, it's a fact that public opinion in Poland is very different towards Russia than it is in Italy. Now, are the Polish people wrong and the Italians right, or is it the other way around? I don't think so. I think they have a different history,
Sure.
different sensibilities. And it's very hard to craft a unified foreign policy when public opinion has such a profound different outlook on things. So at the end of the day, it's good that European countries try to find a common core and try to work together where possible. But I think specifically when it comes to foreign policy, it's probably wiser to do that at the level of NATO, because then you have the strong American military backing you up, which makes it all a lot more credible.
All right, hard to believe it has been 30 years since that treaty. Peter, always good to hear from you. Thanks.